All right, so we don't know what we're calling this podcast yet. This is season 1, episode 2.
102.
102. So we're probably going to be releasing these on our channel called TheGoodieRoom.
Yeah.
We've had that for a long while. We've been making stupid, funny videos since
high school, basically.
Young years.
So
you can see our evolution of filmmaking through that stuff until we introduced these guys. We met these guys, so they started doing videos with us. And whenever we feel like making a video, we usually just throw it on there. So we're deciding we're going to put our podcast on that channel until further notice.
Right. And if we find a name for our podcast and decide, like what the theme is actually going to be, because we're still kind of in our early stages, then we might create our own separate channel for it and put them all up there. But until then, you can find them where you find all our other
If you have an idea for a name, comment below.
Yeah, comment below.
Yeah, there you go.
In recent news, we have finished another Civil War story.
That's right.
It's completed. It is on the interwebs.
It's done. Yeah. Last time we were talking about another Civil War story in our last episode. I hope you caught it. I hope you were joining us. Mm-hmm. And
if you haven't seen it,
we
bash our own film, so it's all right.
Yeah.
You should learn from us. You can watch the film, see what we did right, see what we did wrong. Let us know what you guys think of it, and hopefully you guys are better filmmakers because of it. We know we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, so it's done. It's on the channel. You can see. Is it on your guys' channel or is it on
another Civil War story?
We'll link it.
We'll link it.
Okay.
We'll link it.
Link that for sure.
We'll link that all day, your day.
All right. And then, well, what's next on the list after we got that little plug in there?
So we've been experimenting with Super 8mm. I got a Super 8mm camera a couple years back. I never got a chance to kind of use it. So I bought 2 color negative reels and cartridges and went out, did some test shooting. We went to San Francisco one day and we filmed with that. And then I went to Mississippi on Christmas break, filmed a little bit more on that, and got it shipped out to a place called Gamma Ray Digital. They do a 2K scan of your Super 8mm film, which is a lot better than like a regular telecine. And we just got it back, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
it is. It is pretty cool. It's got a nice little aesthetic feel to it. It's nothing like digital, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, we've grown up studying, purely practicing in digital film.
Right.
It's almost like you can't even call yourselves filmmaker or film knower if you don't even work with actual real film. So even though 8mm is kind of the lowest of the low, the only film anyone can really get their hands on, it's still kind of fun to work with because you have a finite amount of film you have to work with. Eventually you're going to run out, and after that, no more filming.
It's cool how like these great filmmakers like Spielberg and J.J. Abrams, they grew up with these Super 8mm cameras, and that's all they knew. Compared with us, we have these digital cameras, and we don't know anything about Super 8, and they make the next step to 16mm to 35 to 70 or whatever. But Super 8's the first time we've been working with film, and we're like 25, and I don't know, Steven Spielberg probably worked with Super 8mm when he was like 8 years old.
Dude, there's kids now that are making them on their phones. I mean, like the phones nowadays have probably like what, 2K? I mean, they have 1080p.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In their phones, in their pockets.
But
it's such a lost art form, and it's kind of sad because I mean we're kind of discovering it ourselves, just because we're a little interested in it.
Well, it's cool because you guys were at City College and you guys got to work with it.
One of our first projects when we were at City College of San Francisco was to have one location, take your Super 8 camera that we rented out in the equipment room, one reel, 5 minutes. And just explore a location. I think we had to do a rack focus, a pan, a tilt, and before you take the shot, you do a light reading. Make sure your ISO is good, your aperture is set, everything's perfect, shutter speed's good, and explore a location. And that was one of our first projects over at City College of San Francisco. And the main difference with that is like it's a 3-step process. You film, you ship it out, you get it developed, you get it brought back to you. If you get it put on a telecine, you see it on a computer. If you got it on a reel, usually if you get it processed, you will. You project it, and there's such an anticipation because you film it something, you have no idea what you got. Hopefully you got your exposure right. Hopefully it looks decent, nothing messed up in there.
Everything in focus.
You ship it out, exactly. Hopefully you got everything in focus.
And then 2 weeks later.
And 2 weeks later you get it back and hopefully you got everything right. We haven't.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have. I mean, most of the stuff we've done with Super 8 is just kind of little quick shots, you know, nothing super on the line. You know, we didn't hire actors and like put everything on the line. But
well, we've talked about just doing a project in Super 8. I mean, interrupt, I guess, but I think one that gives you like a interesting aesthetic. You know, digital has a look to it, film has a look to it, different types of film have a look to it. I think Super 8, it kind of has like this low budget indie feel to it, but there's no reason you can't, you know, put all the production value otherwise into it and make it look really cool, but have its own aesthetic of being an 8mm film. And I don't know, I think it'd be really cool to do a project.
It's a beautiful aesthetic. It's nothing like digital. It's got a weird. It's very soft. It's
not as harsh as digital.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Almost like one of the aesthetics I noticed with 8mm is it's like it's amateur. Like that's almost part of its thing because it's so. It's handheld. It looks like, I don't know if you've seen an 8mm camera, at least the one that we have. For those of you who haven't seen it, it looks almost like a gun. It's got a handle, and it's got the little thing that you put the cartridge into the side, and then it's got literally a trigger that you hold down to shoot. And as you hold it down, it rolls, and that's what you shoot. And you let it go, and it stops filming.
Right.
And that's super cool because what it does is, like Axel said, you just have this little amount of film, and then you have this finite. Whereas digital, you can keep running forever. Yeah. You can just keep it rolling.
It's almost like you don't even think about your shots. And I think that's how a lot of these great filmmakers kind of got their stars. Like they had to think specifically.
You have to think it out.
They got to think about their shots. They only have a certain amount of. They have 3 minutes per cartridge, something like 3 to 5 minutes, and they had to have everything down to the point. They probably rehearsed it several times because that film is money. You know, I think nowadays I don't know what it used to be, but like per cartridge is like $25. Also getting it developed, or you got to get it processed first, and that's like another like $45.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get it scanned, that can be up to $100 depending how much film you have. If you got 2 reels of 50 feet, that's 100 feet of film you need to get scanned. So it's like you have to really concentrate.
You can't just shoot it, review it, and I don't like it. Let's do it again. No, you need to get everything right the first time, because if you ship that out, come back, you just wasted a whole day of shooting.
Yeah. Right. And I think if you really pay attention to your shots, I think that's how some of these great filmmakers got their start. Is like they focused on time. They forced to take their time to watch these shots. They specifically remember these shots. You know, they build their craft. They're just not just like shoot here, shoot here, shoot here, shoot here, shoot here, and figure out in post. You know, they craft it from the very beginning. And I think that's really cool. And I think that's something digital photography is really missing.
Yeah, it's definitely that patience aspect.
Yeah, because you can have the patience for the digital stuff, but it's just with the Super 8, it's so much easier.
It's necessary.
It's necessary.
Yeah, for these, I mean, you have infinite batteries. You have cards that hold X amount of storage, and you can just keep rolling between takes. And we'll fix it in post, and no, get it done right the first time. What are you doing? Like just because it's a digital camera, it's like Axel said, it's just a different aesthetic. It doesn't mean that you should approach it differently. It is easier, and I know a lot of like the major film makers, they're going to digital. It's weird because there's almost a big divide now, like in the film community, in the professional film community. A lot of them are really pro film stock. Right. You know, there's those guys that just stood up to Kodak and tried to make a deal with them.
Tarantino, Nolan.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah. Tarantino, Nolan. And that's about it.
Yeah.
No, but then there's the other ones. I think like Steven Soderbergh really likes it, and some of these guys like digital because it's super convenient. It's light. You can shoot on the go. It's easier to carry. On like a movie or like a Steadicam film camera is like a thing. There's like a dude. That's his job. It's like a rig, and he's a thing. But I mean, I guess it's just a different aesthetic. It just depends on what you want to use.
Yeah.
I don't even really have my own answer or opinion on.
I think we don't have enough experience with film.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have experience with digital.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, I'd like to work with film more. Like the 8mm is really cool. I would love to shoot one day a film on 16mm or 35mm and do the actual process through.
I think with a lot of special effects heavy films, they like to use that digital because they can automatically just start working on that. Yeah. They don't need to get it processed and then transferred, scanned or whatever. Right.
So anyway, that was kind of cool. So we got that footage back, and it looked really good.
It's really neat.
So we were thinking possibly our next project, next short film.
Yeah.
Luke's written a 3 to 5 minute piece.
Yeah.
A little mockumentary. We're thinking maybe Super 8 is going to be our medium that we're going to use.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? That'll be fun.
Oh, well.
And then we'll abandon it when we realize why don't
Well,
we have a digital
This
camera.
was a horrible,
Why don't we just use our
horrible
digital
decision.
Yeah. Just put an 8mm filter on it.
Yeah.
And go.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the Instagram filter you put
Everything
in?
Russ talked about, just
No.
you guys.
Well, it's cool how they you can marry the two. You know, it's like you get it scanned, and now I have a 2K scan of it.
So now it's digital.
Now it's digital. Exactly. Well, I can. You can denoise it. You can stabilize it, and then you can add some effects in there if you want to.
Do it in post.
You can do all that in digital.
Exactly, digital.
Man, 8mm is a pain.
What were we
in the ass.
talking about? That was stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Use digital only.
Yes, that's the moral.
That's the moral of the story.
Times are changing, guys.
Super
What's the
waste of
point of
time.
film? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was cool. Anyways,
Yeah.
Speaking of digital,
Digital.
we can talk about Pow Pow.
Pow Pow.
The new Power Rangers short
Yeah,
video.
we saw the new Power Rangers short film.
Yes. Yes.
Have you seen it? Have you seen the new
Have you
Power
seen it?
Rangers?
Have you guys seen it?
It's dark. It's gritty. It's short.
Let them
Kind of
answer.
cool. Think about
The
it.
effects are neat.
It's cool.
The fight scenes are cool.
That's about it. I don't know. It was kind of weird. Like,
I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I very.
What
much
did you
enjoyed
like
it.
about
did you really?
I mean, I didn't think it was the greatest short film I ever saw.
Yeah. I didn't think it was super clever at all.
No, I
it
think-
definitely wasn't clever. That they had one good actor. The effects were good. The fight scenes were decent.
I think it's one of those movies that you kind of veg out to, like Transformers.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like a lot of stuff
Maybe.
happens to you, and not like a lot of audience participation.
Well, you gotta figure out why, or think about why it was made. I mean, I think it's more of a parody really than I don't think they were trying to take themselves as seriously as.
Well, we're
thinking it.
like 24, 25-year-olds, you know, and we grew up with the original
Yeah.
Power Rangers, you know, so it's like we're at this age now where we're watching like movies like Kingsman and Tarantino, like bloody and violent movies, you know, so when we take that nostalgic aspect of Power Rangers and bring it up to how old we are, you know, like stuff that we've been watching, it's interesting, you know, you're like, oh shit, that's from when we were kids, you know, now look at it, you know, so I think that's what they were going for, and I think they did a pretty decent job, you know.
Yeah, they did. I don't know.
I mean, it was cool.
Some of it was cliche.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah,
was
yeah,
a
for
cool,
sure.
like
Yeah.
updated version,
Yeah.
a modern
Take on it.
technological take on Power Rangers. And that's cool in itself, but I think there's definitely room for improvement. That I think that could be a huge movie if
There's so much money.
Yeah, that would.
Goodness.
I'd pay.
We would
I'd
see
pay
that.
to
Of course we'd see that.
Of course.
I'm not gonna say we're not gonna see that.
Well, they did it with.
Break.
They sort of did that with Transformers.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
a stupid
Well, it's
cartoon,
becoming
and then
like
they're
a
like,
new fad to take these like cartoons from like the 80s and 90s we grew up with, like G.I. Joe, Transformers. You got Batman.
Yeah,
Christopher
Speed
Speed
Nolan,
Racer.
Speed Racer,
Speed
Ninja
Racer,
Turtles.
dude, I like Speed Racer.
Yeah.
Speed Racer.
You updated the
They got a bad
21st
rap, but I
century.
liked it.
You put this dark spin. I'm not really Speed Ranger, but you put this kind of dark grittiness to it, or this, I guess, pseudo realism to it,
yeah.
epicness to it. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I've wanted them to do a Power Rangers feature, awesome kind of adaptation for a long
Yeah.
time. I think it'd be awesome. I want to see Green Ranger kick some ass. We all love the Green Ranger.
Yeah.
They say geniuses choose green.
They say geniuses choose green.
But you didn't choose it.
I chose pink. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Oh,
We should talk about Power Rangers for the next half hour.
yeah. Yeah.
The mega
In other
series.
news,
Other news.
Oscars.
Oscars.
Oscar season, that was
Ugh.
Sunday.
That was past Sunday. A few days
Yeah.
ago.
I didn't watch it.
I was at work.
I was working as well.
I was working too, but it was on TV.
Oscars got a bad rap this year from
Did they
what I've
really?
from what I've been hearing.
Were they just not good movies? Or?
Well, I think like the viewership was down like 15,
I heard it was
16%,
down.
something
Wow.
insane like
was old
that.
Neil Patrick Harris not cutting it? Just wasn't cutting it.
I heard good things.
I don't know. I thought he would have done a good job.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
I, heard
I think he
good
did. Didn't he
job.
do it? Did he do it last
I
year?
heard he stripped down to his underwear just like in Birdman. He kind of did the little parody of that.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's pretty
That
funny.
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds hilarious.
Should we even be talking about the Oscars?
We haven't even-
I know, yeah.
yeah.
We only know
We
the
can talk
results.
about like the results and who
I
won.
guess.
Well, did you guys?
But first,
have you
like,
seen any of the movies?
what did
Yeah,
we
we saw-
think?
Okay.
What do we think? What was going to win before the Oscars happened?
Well, let's start with Best Picture.
We all thought
Best
Birdman
Picture,
was going to win.
Birdman.
when we
As soon as I
it.
saw that,
As soon as I saw Birdman, I
Yeah.
thought it was one of the best.
I saw
movies I've seen.
Nightcrawler. I was like, that's gonna win. And then I saw Birdman. I was like, nope, Birdman for
Birdman.
sure.
I'll be honest. I'm annoyed that Nightcrawler didn't even get.
A nod.
Dude, it didn't even.
best
Jake
actor.
Gyllenhaal was like,
Come on.
he was like the
He was
guy.
great.
Great. He
I
was
thought
great,
he was
man.
he was excellent.
He's been making really good choices this year. He's made really good career choices.
Forget that.
He has been though. Dude, Prisoners was great.
Prisoners was great.
Nightcrawler was great.
Gyllenhaal's coming up.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's working it up.
No, he did Enemy. It was really a lot.
Oh, Enemy was good too. Oh, you guys got to see Enemy.
Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brothers.
Ever since Prince of Persia, he decided.
It's been the city.
Yeah. No, I love Dick Gyllenhaal. I think he's an amazing actor. I really wished. I mean, I don't know if anyone out there's seen Nightcrawler. It was my favorite movie this year.
Yeah,
I thought he was
really good
absolutely just. God, he was awesome. He was.
That's such a unique character.
Yeah, and he just did a great job.
Yeah.
Can't believe he wasn't nominated for Best Picture. We all have our opinions, of course. You know.
Yeah, I don't even know all the Best Picture nominees. Was Grand Budapest Best Picture?
It was Grand. I mean, I'm not gonna list them off. We had
Did
Grand
that win
Budapest.
best screenplay?
I think
Yeah.
Either that
Oh,
or Birdman.
oh no! Oh, Birdman might have won actually. Yeah, I think Birdman won everything.
Yeah. Except Best Actor.
Yeah.
Best actor.
Or
Michael
Keaton. Put that back in his jacket.
I'm on Team Michael. I didn't even see Eddie Redmayne's film, The Theory of Everything. Did you see it, Axe?
Of course, I saw all of them.
Did you really? You didn't see Boyhood?
That's the only one I didn't see. I saw every single other Oscar nomination.
Did Boyhood win anything?
It won most overrated
Yeah. Well.
Oscar. I'm just kidding. I've never seen it.
Best gimmick.
Yeah.
No, I mean Boyhood's pretty cool.
If that was made in 3 months, would it have been
The same.
special?
Probably, that's what I'm hearing. Probably not. I can't comment on it. I haven't seen it. I saw every single other one. I thought a lot of great movies this year. I thought last year's crop was a little better, but I think Birdman was better than anything. Please silence your cell phones.
Sorry
when
about
the movie
that.
No,
theater.
I'd say answer it.
Hello? Hello?
Can you put that on speaker, please?
Is this a recording? Hey, can you do me a favor and take me off your calling list, please?
Great.
No, take me off your calling list. Great. You're a computer, I think. Hello? All right, have a good evening.
Was that a person?
Yeah, no, I don't know. It sounded like a person, but it's also at the same time sounded like a computer.
Sometimes people has,
Sorry for the interruption.
Skynet. Some people are so.
They know our location.
Run! The necklace is in the open.
just get bombed like halfway through the podcast.
We didn't finish our podcast.
I thought Birdman deserved Best Picture. Eddie Redmayne got Best Actor. I think I'm fine with that. He did a great job as Stephen Hawking. Best Actress, I think, went to Julianne Moore.
For what movie?
Where she has Alzheimer's. Didn't see it, but I imagine she did a good job. Is that right? Am I correct in that?
Sounds like a good film to get an Oscar
Yeah.
for.
Well, he won for ALS or whatever.
J.K. Simmons won for Whiplash.
Best supporting.
Yeah, he was
Daniel
awesome in
Day-Lewis
that.
won for My Left Foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good year. That
Oh.
was a great year.
Wrong.
Oh,
sorry.
shit.
I mean, there were some good movies this year.
Yeah. It might have
Speaking
helped.
of good movies this year,
I mean, how could The Hobbit not get
The Hobbit. Why was that not?
Was it up for anything? Was The Hobbit up for anything?
Special effects,
Maybe
special
score or
effects.
something.
We're all big Lord of the Rings fans here. All big Middle Earth.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're all hobbits.
We're all
Or men. I guess we're men.
yeah.
and being big Lord of the Rings fans, I think we share a lot of disappointment in the Hobbit and that whole trilogy. That a
We
lot of people
shed
do.
multiple tears
Yeah,
while
talking about
watching
it
The
that
A lot
Hobbit.
of times we compare it to George Lucas and his fall from grace when he
Yeah.
made the
Peter
prequels.
Jackson.
Well, they're very similar circumstances,
Yeah.
very similar projects. I mean, yeah, you take a great trilogy that was put together, seems like for all the right reasons, did such a great job, attention to every detail, and then created this great success, which spawned a prequel trilogy. Of course, The Hobbit did actually exist in fiction before the trilogy was made, but man, you look at both of them and you can't help but see all these
Two
similarities.
different routes, like two extreme different routes.
I was kind of thinking about it. I don't even know if The Hobbit... I mean, I guess you could have done it as a movie. Clearly, you could have made it into a film, but, The Hobbit book is, structured a hell of a lot differently than the Lord of the Rings books are. Because the Lord of the Rings, they jump back and forth between characters, and, their characters kind of... They take all these... It's all, this intertwining stuff, and it's, a bigger... kind of storyline. Just the scope of it is a lot bigger. The Hobbit was this one guy, and a lot of stuff was kind of happening to him. It was almost like a video game. He was kind of going to this level and he had to beat this boss, and then to this level had to beat this boss.
That's a good point.
And he does make a character change. And that's what a storyline needs. Is it needs a character arc. Right. But it was almost it was kind of the agency that he did take and the choices that he made were to basically keep rescuing the dwarves, because these stupid dwarves kept getting in the book, and like the book is brilliant. Like the book is a tremendous book. I don't know how well it would have gone into like a film. It could have been a good film, but I think like Peter Jackson was sort of
the book focuses on
The Hobbit, and then I feel like these 3 movies, and we can talk about all the problems of it, but like they just add all these extra storylines to kind of do a lot of filler,
Yeah. Which is kind of like, and that's why Lord of the Rings was so good, because you were allowed to jump back and forth between, okay, here's Legolas and Gimli and Aragorn's story over here, what they're doing, and Gandalf,
here's
and
Merry
then
and
now we
Pippin
can keep up
Gandalf
with Frodo and Sam doing their
And
thing.
it seems like they might have taken that model and tried to apply it to a book that it wasn't written that way, so it comes off as superficial.
Yeah, and I
mean, it's called The Hobbit, but they didn't even focus too much on The Hobbit.
I think the
he
overwhelming...
probably said like 3 lines this last movie.
Yeah,
honestly, dude, he had no screen time.
Yeah.
I think one of my friends said that basically Peter Jackson has like a Hobbit, almost like a Hobbit complex. Like he doesn't like hobbits or something. Like he because the Lord of the Rings was almost like Aragorn story,
right.
which in the book it kind of is. I mean, like clearly Return of the King is about him, and so it's like, but it is the story of like Frodo and Sam trying to take this ring to Mordor. That's the basic of it, but there's all this other stuff going on. The Hobbit is literally just the Hobbit. Yeah. It's the Hobbit, and it's Bilbo going on an adventure.
Yeah,
and he doesn't get any. It's like Peter Jackson.
Well, you can just compare the
wanted
two.
To focus
like,
on Thorin.
Yeah, you want to focus on different characters, but I feel like the tone for these 2 films or these 2 trilogy were completely different. And I think going into The Hobbit, we were hoping, okay, we want more of the Lord of the Rings. Like this evil against like just a little bit of hope, and just like such a darkness versus just like these guys are on the knife's edge, they could be tipped into darkness like any moment, they could die any second. And like you really felt that, you really felt that, like they're crying every scene. They're like,
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, exactly. But in The Hobbit, it's just
they're bumbling around.
Nothing feels like it's at stake. They're bumbling around. They can do no wrong. From the first film, when they're in the Misty Mountains, and the Misty Mountains, right?
Yeah. The cave trolls.
The cave trolls. They're like bumbling. It's all computer animated, and they're just grabbing ladders and swinging around, and like nothing's at stake. Not 1 second do you think that anyone's gonna die.
Right.
Same thing in the second one when they're in the barrels. They're going down the river. They can do no wrong.
Yeah, seriously. And then they brought back Legolas, who wasn't even in the movie or in the book, at all. Like, and what they could have done, it would have been cool if Peter Jackson had him in as like a cameo in one scene when they were in Mirkwood. That's where he's from. He should have just been there, kind of like standing there, and it could have cut to him. Like, oh, that's Legolas, that's the guy.
Right.
That's about
But instead, they had like this.
He was the guy.
The pale orc. They had that going on. They had the relationship with the female elf falling in love with the dwarf. Then they had that whole story. Then they had Gandalf's and the White Council. They had that story going on. Then they had
they got to make 3
in
movies,
Laketown.
Right?
In Laketown, they had the whole story with the horrible king that's just treating his people horrible. There's all these different small stories that
it just detracts from your main character who you should be invested in, and I think quite honestly we weren't invested in our main character, Bilbo.
I think it just suffered from a huge lack of tension. Bilbo's supposed to be the main character of The Hobbit. He's supposed to be the audience's kind of tour guide through the whole story. And he ends up being neglected a lot. We don't really focus on his goal, and therefore there's nothing to conflict his goals.
Feels wishy-washy.
Yeah, we don't really feel tension. You never really felt like Bilbo was striving to get something done. He's kind of just along for the ride. He's kind of just a background piece. Yeah. Whereas in the book, everything's depending on him kind of surviving and him getting through and him growing as a person. He starts out as this kind of reclusive person who doesn't want to step outside his comfort zone. And the story's about him really gaining confidence and stepping outside his world and going on an adventure. By the end of the book, he becomes something that you wouldn't ever see a Hobbit become. He becomes a warrior, a hero, an adventurer. And he comes back and the town doesn't even recognize him anymore. He becomes one of the people they look down on because he went out. He wasn't, he didn't stay in.
He broke the mold.
Yeah, he broke the mold.
Right. Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's what the book was about, which is a great theme. A great something you can really attach to as an audience, something you can learn from.
Right.
The movie, of course, had none of that. It just had a lot of action and a lot of CGI and a lot of stupid characters.
Yeah, the CGI really...
Radagast running around with rabbits pulling his sled. Where did that come from?
The Hobbit's a singular story of a singular character going on a journey, and you put all this stuff in, it doesn't really matter. You can take all that away, and the story should still be there. Of course, you put all that in the movie, and it overweights everything, and
Yeah, it just gets really diluted, and then, like you said, he got neglected, he got pushed aside. And Martin Freeman's a great actor. I think he was a good Bilbo. He was able to deliver his lines, and he had humor, like a really natural humor to him that could have come through easily. Right. And I think, like in The Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson did such a good job, like balancing tension and danger and like real almost elements of like,
and also just introducing this entire world.
Seriously, you know? Like, and Peter Jackson used to be, for those who don't know, he used to be a sort of like a kind of B movie horror film director. He made like The Frighteners and all these kind of little horror films, right? Kind of these like gross out flicks, and like a lot of that transfers into Lord of the Rings, like the scene in the Fellowship in Amon Hen when they all come out of that little battle in the darkness. Yeah, the ring race. Yeah. Is like scary. It's almost like a horror movie, that scene. But then there's like elements of he can really blend in like humor with like the Pippin and Merry, and then Gimli and Legolas, their little banter, which is in the books almost verbatim. I didn't know it was in the books, but they're like keeping count of their kills. That's in the books, right? And like he did such a good job, and like it was so true. He cared about those books. He read them when he was a kid, and he was like, dude, I can't wait till these movies come out. And then they hadn't been made, and he was just growing impatient. He's like, I'm making them. And there's some of the most mind-blowing films I've ever seen. In The Hobbit, he just, I think, did, like, he probably got pressured into doing it by the studios or something.
Yeah. No, I always thought, because it took a while for the Hobbit films to actually get made. It was a decade after the Lord of the Rings films came, and there was this huge, like, pre-production, I think, hell, you know, were they going to get made, not going to get made. You're really hoping they're going to get made because you love Lord of the Rings and you love all the characters in them, and you want to see the Hobbit now, because I love the Hobbit, the book, even better than I love watching the Lord of the Rings movies. I thought that, still my favorite book. It's a kid's book. It's really easy to read through, but man, it's awesome. It's so cool. Yeah. And
when they were getting made, we always talk. This is kind of like when we first met. We were always talking about the production of The Hobbit, and we would watch all the production videos. Yeah, they released those video blogs. So much anticipation, and that's how we kind of met. We're like, did you guys see the next video? We're like, oh my gosh, it's so cool.
My point was, I think because it took so long to get made, and they finally got Peter Jackson on board. He wasn't even on board originally. I think he probably didn't want to do it because of all these. The studio wanted. The studio probably wanted a love story. They wanted to appeal to this mass demographic. They didn't. They weren't really considered about staying true to the book, which, you know, it's a business. I can understand you wanting to. That's probably why I didn't want to do it. I think eventually they got him to do it with all these conditions, and eventually he did do it. But
it sucks because like if he makes a great movie, the director gets all the credit. But if he makes a crappy movie, the director gets that credit too. Yeah. Right. So, and it could be that the studios had all these regulations, like you need to include this, you need to include this. We get final say of the script. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. We don't know what the conditions are which we're going into that, but they could say like, we want you to make 3 movies, and he's like, how do I make 3 movies?
I just think it's fair to assume that the Hobbit films were made under far different circumstances than the Lord of the Rings. I remember we watched a lot of the Lord of the Rings behind the scenes, and they interviewed Peter Jackson. He talks about addressing his crew and addressing the actors before they start shooting. He said, I want this to be filmed like we're going into Middle Earth. We're going back in time into a time machine. We're filming it as it actually was. We're almost like, you know, we're going to Middle Earth, and we're filming it. We're just putting our cammers there, and we're filming what's happening.
Yeah, he was pretending like it actually happened.
It's like a historical account. Right. And it felt like that. It felt so real. Everything felt so genuine, and just the orcs come out and they could cut your face off. You know. Yeah. In the Hobbits, it doesn't have that.
Feel it. You don't feel it.
It doesn't have that.
And I think that part of that's the practical versus special effects. You know. Yeah. That evilness and real gritty feel. You know, when they're fighting the Helm's Deep, like it just. Everything feels so tangible and real. Like, oh my gosh, these guys are not going to make it this substantial force against like this little bit of hope. Yeah. Versus just the Hobbit, you know, like
bumbling around in the barrel scene.
Yeah, exactly. The more and more I watch the Hobbit or talk about it, it's just like that movie was for kids. Yeah. It was 100% for kids and to make money.
Yeah, it was a money maker.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it, right? Yeah. We saw all of it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, another thing that differentiates the two trilogies for me is that, like, and you've brought this up, Luke, a lot of times, is in the Lord of the Rings, you always feel like there's this unrelenting, unyielding evil, and they have no chance of success except this little glimmer of hope each and every time, and somehow by that little bit of hope, they get to the next step. You know, like Frodo's in Shelob's lair, and he's done for, he's gonna get eaten, but that little glimmer of hope, and here comes Sam. Yeah. In the Hobbits, there's no tension, there's no danger. You feel like they're never ever gonna get killed. You know, they're going down this barrel ride, and these orcs can't hit them. Everything's missing, and you know they're lopping off heads and rolling. It's like,
dude, in the first Lord of the Rings movie alone, Frodo gets stabbed twice, Gandalf gets like destroyed by the
dies.
Balrog.
Gandalf dies.
He dies. Boromir gets blown away by arrows.
But I mean, it's just like that was written in the book.
I know.
You know.
Exactly.
So I mean,
Like, the
but
book's
there
much
are
more
ways you
true.
can portray it to where it feels darker. They
Yeah,
can
right.
narrowly escape. You know, like.
I mean,
let's-
in the Hobbit, the book. Sorry to interrupt, but like in the book, he does do that. Like, I mean, he goes and there's like they get captured by trolls.
Right.
That should be scary.
Exactly.
Then they get captured by spiders. That should be
Yeah.
scary. And like each of these things, it almost gets worse and worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
And like these things happen where like Beaufort, or whoever the big bomber, the big
Bomber.
dwarf,
Yeah.
he steps in like this lake in like the forest or like this creek and just passes out. Like it's like
Yeah.
this
Right.
magical
Yeah.
thing. So now they're dragging this dude. It's like this just these burdens keep building up, and it's
Right.
really well done in the book. And you're reading like, how are they going to get out of this? And then Bilbo has to keep like saving him, you know. And then
Right.
they finally they're climbing through the mountain pass, and these giants are throwing rocks at each other.
Yeah.
And so they have to hide in the mountain. And then they're like, okay, let's get some rest and fall asleep. And Bilbo wakes up, and there's this crack in the wall that opens, and these orcs are taking all the ponies away.
Yeah.
And like all their supplies, I'm like, oh shit! And then they capture them, and now they're in the mines of
They're
Mordor. Like,
being
dude,
led deep down into the mines. They're
Yeah.
completely
To
lost.
hell.
It's dark.
They're-
They're with
oh my
these
God.
evil orc.
yeah,
They're
they're in
in
goblins.
goblins.
That's the other thing I want to talk about too, just for a second. Because
Yeah.
we talk about all this danger that was in the book. There was no danger in The Hobbit.
No.
But two scenes that are very similar is when they're in the Mines of Moria in Lord of the Rings, and when they're in Goblin Town in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
In the Mines of Moria in Lord of the Rings, it is dark. They're passing through it, and Gandalf's like, "Let's be careful not to make a sound. We don't want anyone to know of our presence here, because if they do, he doesn't have to
done.
say if they do."
Cue all your
Yeah.
wide shots of
Yeah.
like the expanse.
Yeah.
You know,
And
just
then it's like, oh
beautiful.
my
You're
God.
just like, what world is this?
And then, of
Oh.
course, I think Mary knocks over that bucket down the well, and you're just like, "Oh my God, they're done." And you hear the drums.
You
Orcs coming-
feel
you're
it,
just like,
man.
"Oh,
You're just like,
no,
ah.
they're dead."
Well, first the tension is relieved. He's like, okay,
Yeah, he's like,
throw yourself in next time.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Dum, 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 dum,
You're like, oh shit.
But then it's dark and it's gritty and it's just really it's a low lit, and you can tell they're struggling. There's frustration. In The Hobbit, it's so much more. Everything's brightly lit. Everything's
lit. There's, like, torches.
And they're falling down things, and it's not even a big deal. They're not getting hurt at all. There's no tension.
In Lord of the Rings, there's so many subtle things where they get lost for a moment, and then Gandalf can't remember where to go.
Yeah.
That adds so much tension,
Yeah.
you know? And when they finally figure out, they go down there, and then just with the thing falling down, the skeleton falling down the well, it's simple.
It's so simple, but it has so much impact and so
Right.
much feeling from the audience. Like, you didn't feel that at all in The Hobbit. If the Hobbits dropped something off and it landed in like a pond and made a big splash, you'd be like, okay, here comes cue the next.
They should have slowed the whole
swashbuckling scene.
cut out a whole movie and just slow the whole thing down. That's what they needed to do.
Yeah.
Slow down and just
Cut out all the
focus.
stupid scenes that
Yeah.
didn't belong there.
oh, and here's another thing I want to talk about. I know you got to go. I just want to also say real
We can
fast.
still talk if you can
Is
go.
Yeah, no, y'all can.
All right.
no, you still.
Mark has to go off to work, but we might still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go clock in.
I'm too busy. I'm
Do
just
my-
getting started.
You didn't start it. It's 2:30 in the afternoon.
Gentlemen, it's been
Mark Fraser.
it's been good. Sirs,
Always.
sirs,
Next time,
I will be
hey,
back for episode 3,
Mark,
season 1.
this is gonna be a running theme. Is every time we have a podcast, Mark's gonna have to leave for work.
I do. Remember me.
It takes us an hour to
We'll
set
start
up, 2
earlier.
hours
I
to set
know.
up.
Sorry. Anyway, but I do want to say, the scene, I think that could have been really well done because it was creepy in the book. This is like probably the creepiest thing in the whole Hobbit book. Was when he meets Gollum. So he's in this. He's so far down. He gets knocked out, and he is in the middle of nowhere. He's in a cave, like at the roots of the mountains.
He got left by the company.
He got left.
Yeah.
He is. Dude,
Yeah.
how would you ever even find? He's in this dark. He can't even feel, and then he just scrapes. Literally, just feels like this ring, and just absentmindedly kind of picks it up and just puts it in his pocket. Like he's not even thinking. Doesn't even go back to it. He just puts it in his pocket. and He's still kind of feeling around. Like, okay, where am I? Like, and then he meets Gollum, and Gollum's this little dude with these big eyes, and he's just kind of rowing a little boat over across the lake to eat him because Gollum eats orcs. That's what he does. Like he eats fish and shit. But when like an orc or something strays down
Yeah.
to where he is, he fucking uses the ring, turns invisible, breaks their neck, and eats them.
He does it often enough that like the goblins know there's something down there.
Yeah, they don't know what it is. They don't know who he is, but they don't go down there.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
The goblins are like, they just stay away from him.
Yeah.
And fucking Bilbo bumbles down here.
Right.
And now Gollum's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill this dude. This dude's like half my, he's like my size.
Yeah.
And he's just, you just see these pair of eyes in this log kind of coming across.
Yeah, it's so dark.
Paddling,
It's
and
so
it's dark. That's what it should have been. And they almost, I was thinking in The Hobbit, obviously they brought back a bunch of cameos. They brought back Legolas. They had like Frodo in the beginning of the first one. And it's just like, and they brought back Gollum, and like I see why they did, but they almost didn't have to really show him as he was.
Yeah.
If you guys remember in the Fellowship of the Ring, that first one when they're showing, or no, it might have been, or no, I think it was in the first one when during the exposition scene.
Yeah.
And she's telling about Gollum, like, but another found it, and Gollum's like, he's crouching, and you just see a spotlight in the cave, and he's by his little lake.
Yeah.
And he looks over, and you just see he's kind of going. You almost, and you don't see him. There's no detail.
Yeah. You just see like a silhouette.
You just see a silhouette.
You see the
stringy
eyes.
hair.
It's scary.
Like, that's
scary.
That's literally how he should have been almost portrayed. And then like toward the end when they're having their riddle battle, that could have been the when you kind of see him more fully.
Right.
But before that, it should have been. Oh, what's that?
And it's funny how it switches like that, you know. But now the forbidden fruit must be tasted.
Farewell.
Farewell to arms.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like it should have been like that.
Right.
He should have been. That was a scary scene. But instead, it's kind of playful, and he's like,
it's just
you
like,
know, he's
what are
patting
you
his head,
doing?
and he's got big eyes, and he's kind of. He almost looks kind of like
kind of cute. Yeah.
But Gollum's a fucking dude. He's a starving.
killer.
Yeah.
You know, like
He's scary. He's a
if
ghoul.
Bilbo's
He's a ghoul.
scared of the goblins, you
Yeah.
know, and the goblins are scared of Gollum, Bilbo should be freaking freaked out by Gollum. You
He's
know, like
6 miles below the surface of the
there's
earth.
like a lake and like this creepy creature who's nimble like a freaking snake. It's like the character out of like The Ring that pulls out of the TV. You know,
Yeah.
just like
Exactly
something creepy, like something scary. But I guess that wouldn't go for our little kid viewers,
Yeah,
right?
but I mean,
our PG.
I don't know, man. I was pretty scared when I first watched Lord of the Rings when I was a little kid. I was in the theaters.
Oh
and
yeah,
that movie
I
scared the
I
hell
couldn't
out of me.
watch it. I remember when I was little, I left the theater. So me and my mom, we were.
Really?
Yeah, we were just like. I was like, this is scary. Let's go. It was so dark.
That's a good movie.
I know.
That's a
exactly.
good movie. It's too scared to watch
exactly.
it. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I was too. I was little, dude.
you
I
have
was
to leave the
little.
theater?
Exactly. I was little.
they did
I remember
something
it
right.
was. I got to the point where it was the wizard duel between Saruman and Gandalf, and it was just so dark.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
really
And I was
intense.
just. It was dark all the way up to then.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I was like, okay, this is scary. And then we left. You remember that, Mark? Yeah, we remember. You remember that? He remembers, everyone. But then I gave it another shot after it came out on DVD. I'm like, these are freaking amazing.
Yeah. And so, yeah, man, I don't know. But I remember even watching the I remember watching them. I didn't see the first one in theaters, but I saw the second two in theaters, and I saw the first one. It must have been on like DVD or TV or some shit. And but me and my mom and brother went and saw the second one.
Right.
And that fucking Battle of Helm's Deep, dude. I was like, this is
Yeah.
crazy. Like it looked so awesome, and
Yeah.
like it still looks awesome watching it.
Right.
What 11 years later, and it
Right.
still looks amazing.
Well, I was talking with a guy that I work with. He works at this front desk at the hotel, and he was telling me how Lord of the Rings is his favorite movie. I'm like, oh yeah, really? And he said when he was little, he saw the Fellowship of the Ring 11 times in theaters. 11 times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he said for Two Towers, but he said for Return of the King, he saw it 14 times in theaters.
17 times, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, something crazy like it was either 14 or 17. Just an insane amount of time. Not just like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like that's
Loves it.
that's the feeling Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings gives. It's just like it's such an expansive world, and you just feel like you're in the middle of it. You're taking on this journey, and it's just good versus evil. Some simple themes and like a solid tone, and you're just characters you care about. It's brilliant, man.
Characters, dude.
And like just the fact that it was. They were made in they were making them in 1999, I think.
Yeah, they were like filming it in like 99.
99, 2000. But you watch them today, and they completely hold up.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's practical. Like 80% of them in the 80% of the film in the Fellowship of the Ring is practical.
Yeah.
You know? It's all real.
It looks good.
I think
too.
as they went on, you know, through Two Towers and Return of the King, there was obviously more more digital effects. But I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah, it just got so much
the story
more
gets bigger and
expansive,
bigger.
yeah.
But like. I think the realness and the grittiness of using real sets, you know, and just it just
Real
feels
orcs.
so real,
Yeah, dude.
and such like everything is at stake.
The
And
ring
even,
rates are scary.
well, even like the troll in the Fellowship of the Ring when they're in the Mines of Moria, like even that seems real and
Yeah,
substantial.
he looks
And
pretty good. still,
It
dude.
seems fine today. Like we watched it like
Yeah.
not too long ago, and it's like perfectly fine.
I think the
am-
Trolls and the
amazing.
Hobbit look pretty good. I'm not gonna. I don't
Yeah,
know
I'm sure they
about
look
that.
good too, but it's just
Yeah.
like I think when there's a mass of like orcs,
Yeah.
like the white orc, it's like it just doesn't feel
Or
tangible
dude, the fucking
and real.
like the Oliphants or the big elephants in the Return of the King, look amazing, dude. They look so good.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a dozen of them, and they're
Yeah.
just like fucking huge.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's awesome. Those movies are so awesome.
Yeah. Let's wind it back.
I know.
Basically, what we're
Sorry.
saying is Lord of the Rings is great.
Here's what we're saying.
Hobbits. Man.
Don't do prequel trilogies.
Yeah.
If you've done one trilogy and it's
Well,
successful,
if you're gonna do
leave
it,
it alone.
approach it like you were approaching the first one. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
see, I'm wondering if I don't know if you could though. I think Axel's right. I think there'd be a lot of studio pressure. I think because they know that they're gonna make bank.
yeah,
They're like, do another trilogy. Like, I don't know if I want to do another
I
trilogy,
think-
and it'd be hard to because I think if you do, I feel like making one film takes a shit ton of work. Making a trilogy takes a lot of work. And if you're
Yeah.
making a trilogy, you have to
Yeah.
have passion, which is why the first Star Wars trilogy. I mean, George Lucas did like the first one. He didn't even direct the second two, but obviously he was involved.
Yeah.
He was.
he didn't even
helped
write. He
make
just
them.
had the story.
You know what I mean? But like
didn't
he
even
was.
actually
They're
write
his
it.
films. You know, I mean the Star Wars.
Yeah,
And then same with Peter Jackson. Like he loved Lord of the Rings, so you see the passion in like those three trilogies, the originals. The prequel trilogies for both of them, you know, it was just them like I have to do another fucking trilogy.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's almost like a burden.
But
It's almost like they don't have that.
I feel like
passion.
if he's gonna do it, he should just fucking do it. You know? And,
I'm sure he
and-
won't. It's easy for us to sit here
It is.
in our
It
house
very is.
on our
Like-
couch and say,
Yeah, with
Peter
no
Jackson
films under our
you
belt.
suck.
messed up.
Yeah. You
don't do a better job.
Meanwhile, Peter Jackson has done so much to get where he is.
Right.
So have all these great filmmakers.
Yeah.
I know.
And I still love Peter Jackson. I don't love the Hobbit movies. But I don't.
No, I still
put all
respect
the blame
him.
on him. I
Yeah,
mean, he's a
right.
director. He's
Yeah.
gonna take. But yeah, I really wished the Hobbits had been great. I wish it was just one movie. I wish if I had made it. Oh man.
You know what we
It
could
would
do?
have been like a 4-hour movie with an intermission.
Dude, we
Right.
could-
They wouldn't have liked that, but that's what I would have done. But
Here's what we could do.
Like a Gods and Generals.
yeah,
It's just like they literally have an
I know.
intermission.
Yeah.
Go get some more M&Ms.
Let's all go
Go
to
take
the
a piss. Grab some. Yeah. Of course,
Yeah,
and go.
the Hobbits made a lot of money. They made like $1 billion.
No.
To Hollywood, they were a success.
Oh,
they
yeah,
were
they
great.
were.
It's
Yeah.
and so
Yeah, those guys. Yeah.
making movies is a business. The studios are. We hate people. People talk about how they hate the studios and they hate Hollywood. They're the ones that fund your
Yeah.
movies. How can you hate them that much if they make it possible to
They're
make your
banks,
movies?
dude.
They are.
They're like,
So-
you're going to them saying, "Look, I need a loan for my
and
film,"
they give
Yeah.
it to you.
and they're like, "All right,
Say,
but I
okay.
expect this back with some
Yeah.
interest,
Yeah.
with money."
So
So you're like,
if
"All right."
if we ever get to the point where we're making movies on that level, I imagine you're just playing a balancing game. You're trying to get the movie made that you want to get made, while also they're trying to get the movie made that they want to get made, and
Right.
they have the money.
It's Final Cut. If that's the battle, it's the Final Cut.
Very few directors have Final Cut. It's a hard thing to.
I wonder who even has Final Cut nowadays.
No one I know does.
Chris Nolan does?
Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson
I'm sure.
does?
I'm sure
Like
Wes
Wes
Anderson,
Anderson probably
does. I'm
does.
sure.
Wes Anderson, PTA.
I'm sure.
I'm sure Tarantino for sure.
I wonder if J.J.
Yeah.
Abrams does on Star Wars. I doubt it. But he might.
I don't know if Disney would give that to him.
Yeah, I kind of doubt it. But I mean, J.J. Abrams is.
Not a lot of them do.
There's very few.
I'm sure when the budgets get smaller, more creative control goes to the director. I'm sure if I can't think of names right now.
Yeah, but I mean, when they're approaching like The Hobbit, they're writing the script, or I mean, the studios are going in,
Yeah.
changing things to make it for a broader audience.
Yeah.
Instead of having it R, PG. Was it PG-13?
Yeah, I think they're
PG or PG-13, so your gap of people, your viewership is just going to get larger, and that means more money and more profitable. And
I think it could have been made PG-13 and still been amazing. I just
was
I
Return of
think
the
it
King PG-13?
think they're probably all.
all the Lord of the Rings are PG-13.
PG-13, yeah.
I think.
But
I think
I
in
don't know, for
R-
some reason it's just like they seem so much darker.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, it's just the tone.
You can make a
It's
film
how you
darker without
approach
making it R. It's
Yeah.
just film on a lower ISO.
Yeah, I know, huh? Right? Crush the blacks.
Crush the blacks. Like I said, in the Mines of Moria, it feels like they're in a dark, damp, dank cave. And in Goblin Town, in The Hobbit, it feels like they're in a.
Yeah, and dude,
They're in a playground,
by the way, like the
amusement
head,
park ride.
the Captain Hobbit, or I mean, not the who's the Goblin King.
Yeah.
He's almost like Jabba the Hutt. He's just big, goofy, like, and then just.
And then just ends it just like, okay,
Yeah.
you're done. Oh, The Hobbit.
Have we talked about The Hobbit enough? We could. I
Yeah.
mean, literally, we've talked about this before.
Yeah, we've had
People are listening.
long
We've had long
conversations
conversations on it. We love movies and we love Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and that's why we're so passionate about our critique of this kind of thing.
Well, because we just also, we don't want to know what not to do wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, try and figure out why these work so well,
Right.
and then by the same director later why it went so wrong. And maybe it is passion. Maybe it's because maybe he had more creative control on the first ones.
How do you have less creative control on the second?
That's exactly. I feel like it should go up.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, we trust you a little bit more. We trust you a little bit more.
But
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Just like I guess like by analyzing it and talking about it, hopefully, if we ever get to a point like that, we don't make those mistakes.
you compare a Hobbit to the Civil War story, and I mean, so it's hard for us to.
I know we can't talk about
we
shit.
can't talk.
No, we can though. You know, we got to learn from it. You know,
Yeah.
we learn from everything we do. So. Anyways, we were gonna wrap that up.
We're gonna probably wrap this up.
Yeah.
Thank you guys if you're still listening.
So another if you
my
guys didn't
God.
tune out from our babbling.
Thank you. Wow.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for donating your time to us.
That was episode dose.
This is episode 102 or 2 or whatever. It's our second
season 1,
podcast.
episode 2.
We're still kind of getting the kinks smoothed out here. We didn't mention Seth Johnson last time, but he's probably the producer of this. He's our fifth Beatle. He's
the one that runs everything. He's behind
everything.
scenes.
Yeah.
You'll never see him.
Never see
ever.
him, even though he's probably.
We don't want you to, and he doesn't want you.
He has
to.
more input than we could give. Ever, but
Great.
but we're gonna try to keep doing this every week. It's actually a lot of fun sitting down.
Yeah, it is fun.
We have a lot of stuff we love to talk about, and we hope that you guys really love listening to it. I mean, maybe we'll get better at it. Honestly, it's a work in progress. It's a brand new thing for us.
I think this one's a little bit smoother.
This one's a little smoother than. If
I think we're more
last
comfortable in front of the camera than we were
Yeah.
in the first one.
week. Beers help. I think
They certainly do.
I think maybe in the future.
Coffee makes me jittery, so I'm gonna switch to beer.
I had a
Switch beer.
cocktail.
I'm gonna finish this beer. But we are going to probably be signing off now in the next few seconds.
Yes.
Again, thank you again for listening.
We have links below, so check those out.
And stay tuned for next week when we put it out. So thanks
same
again,
time
guys.
next week. Thank you.
I'm Luke.
I'm Corey.
I'm Axel.
And
Mark
that was-
Mark left.
Mark left.
Seth
Always
behind the
behind
camera.
Seth behind the camera. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
Bye.